Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and back to another Urban Calisthenics workout. In today's session, I'm excited to bring back to you squat fusion, for which you'll be doing 5 exercises for 60 seconds of work with no rest between those exercises, working for 3 rounds. That's 15 minutes in total. Now, as this is squat fusion, that means that each of the exercises you'll be doing will be followed by a squat. And as there is no dedicated rest throughout the 15 minutes, I would like you to work at a sustainable pace that works for you without sacrificing any form. And if your technique is starting to slip and you do need to take the extra rest, by all means take it. And the beauty of squat fusion is you do not need any equipment whatsoever, just a small space to work in and you are good to go. As always, practice those instructionals before getting stuck in alongside a thorough warm-up. And I will leave a link in the description below for a warm-up that I feel is suitable for this routine, but by all means do one of your own. That's enough from me. Let's see what's in store. So for the squat to pike push-up, you're going to start by moving into your deeper squat position whilst keeping the heels in contact with the floor. Once you've reached that end range, you're going to start by placing your hands on the floor, trying to get your hands as close to your feet as you can, but keeping your hands to around about shoulder width. From here, you're going to raise the heels as high as you possibly can, and now the intention is to perform a pike press. And we're going to do that by bending the arms but bringing the head to a forward position, turning the arms towards the body and aiming to get the head in contact with the floor. Once you reach that position, you're going to push out strong, push back into your resting squat position, keeping the chest nice and high, and then return to standing. So all the way down into the squat, place the hands as near to the feet as you can, take the hips up high, raise the heels as high as you possibly can, move into the pike press, breaking the floor as you work your way down. Touch the head on the floor, extend the arms, back into full resting squat, and then return to standing. If the pike press is too challenging, what you're going to do is get yourself a prop, such as a yoga block, place it to the point where your head is going to meet it, but making sure the hands still sit slightly behind the block. So again, I'm going to go back into that squat position. As you can see, the hands are just behind the block because the head needs to move in front of the hands. Still going high off the heels, keeping the legs as straight as possible. Moving into the pike press, take the head to the block, push out strong, and then back into your resting squat position. So for our squat to kick through, you're going to start by moving into a squat position whilst keeping both heels in contact with the floor. From here, you're going to bring your hands underneath your shoulders, hopping into a support position. Now from here, you're going to make your way into a squat by pushing through your hands, but also pulling through your hips, trying to get your backside to your heels. From here, you go forwards again, stepping one foot to the outside of one hand and also releasing that hand at the same time. Now all the support comes from the shoulder on the right side. The back leg will now make its way through the middle. I'm getting that leg as straight as possible, but also keeping the hip as close to the arm as possible. Once it's reached that point, I've got to take it back to its original position, placing the hand back to the floor, moving back into the support position, and then doing the exact same on the opposite side. So squatting, step, release the hand. The leg comes through the middle, ideally straight, pull it back, hand to the floor, both feet to the floor, back into your squat and into your squat to standing. So squatting down, support, squat, step, release, leg comes through the middle. Return back into a support, into a squat, step, do the same on the other side, leg comes through the middle, back into the support, and return into your squat position. So for the squat to tuck pike combination, which is a straight arm drill, you're going to start by moving into your deepest squat position whilst keeping the heels in contact with the floor. Once you've reached that point, you're going to start by bringing your hands towards your feet, allowing your hips to go up. From here, you're going to hop back into a support position, making sure that the shoulders sit slightly in front of the wrists. You keep the shoulders stable, the abs pulled in, and the pelvis tucked under ever so slightly. From here, you're going to hop your knees gently into your arms or through your arms, keeping your knees bent. And once you've reached that point, you're going to keep the weight in the shoulders, extending the legs as best you possibly can. From here, you revert back into your tuck position, back into a support position, hopping back into your squat, and then return to standing. So for the squat to alternating probe, you're going to start by moving into your deepest squat position whilst keeping the heels in contact with the floor. Once you've reached that point, the intention is to weight shift the body across to one side, carrying as much weight through that leg as you possibly can. You want to stay as low as possible, but keep the chest as high as you possibly can. So I'll weight shift across, keep the chest up, carry the weight through the leg. Once I've reached this point, I'm going to extend that leg out completely, carrying as little weight through that leg as I possibly can. Slide the leg back into the body, move back into the deep squat position, weight shift to the other side, extend that leg out, bring it back into the body, into a deep squat, and then go again. So for our squat to L-sit, you're going to start by moving into your squat position whilst keeping the heels in contact with the floor. And from here, I'm going to bring one hand behind the foot on the same side whilst keeping the shoulder directly over the top of the hand. I'm going to do the same on the other side and match the hands up. From here, you're going to work into your L-sit. Now, the idea is to pull the hips behind the arms as best you can whilst keeping the arms straight, pressing down into the floor and keeping the shoulders down as best you possibly can. Once you've reached that point, you're going to slide the feet away from the body, keeping the legs as straight as possible. If the hips are back far enough and the shoulders are forwards and there's enough compression and leg strength, you should be able to lift the feet off the floor. If you can't, just think about taking as much weight out of the feet as you possibly can. From here, you slide the feet into the body, move back into your squat position, and then return to standing. Now, just before we kick things off with the workout, I just want to let you know that if you want to gain access to the full Urban Calisthenics library, then head over to urbancalisthenics.com, where you can access over 100 calisthenics workouts with a new workout added every single week for just $4.99 a month. You can also take advantage of a 7-day free trial with no commitments and no payments up front. Now let's get into the workout. Thanks so much for taking part in this Urban Calisthenics workout. I hope you had a great time challenging yourself and breaking a sweat. If you did find this workout useful and beneficial, please give me a like and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. If you do want to gain access to the full Urban Calisthenics library, please visit urbancalisthenics.com where you can gain access to over 100 workouts with a new workout added every single week for just $4.99 a month. Keep up the great work, stay motivated, and I'll see you on the next workout.